Hello and welcome to the screencast of task 1.1. So hopefully after the first lesson or two of the Sports Leaders Award, you have now got a better understanding of the differences between a sports leader, a coach and a teacher. So in this section of task 1.1, it's asking you really just to solidify that knowledge and that information and putting it down on paper here. So as you can see, this is split up into the three rows of sports leader, coach and teacher, and for each you need to ensure that you've written down the main responsibilities of each role. So as a sports leader, thinking about the fact what you will be entailed and what you'll be doing and applying yourself in your particular lessons, and thinking what responsibilities you have within that particular lesson. Then thinking about what the coach does. So a sports coach, perhaps more sort of inclined to refine and develop key skills. So if you think of an athletics coach at Copdall, for example, Barnet, Shaftesbury Harriers, that coach will be refining and developing the skills that the athlete already has. Whereas a teacher is kind of helping the student develop new skills and actually find new information. So teaching is now sort of very closely related, I have to say, to coaching as well, because as you go up the years in terms of year 10, 11 and sixth form, we are then refining those key skills and ensuring that the skills that already have been set from the students are then developed further, so performance is better. But ultimately, obviously, as sports leader yourselves, you will be linking the two. So you'll be thinking about the fact that you are teaching key points perhaps to the younger students, and the key aspects of the new skills that they're developing, but also you will be sort of at times challenging some of those students as well, and progressing some of your lessons, which will hopefully challenge those students to help develop their skills as well. In the next column, then you can see there what makes this role unique. So thinking about your qualification in particular, the fact that you, although you won't be solely in charge of the whole class, you'll always have a member of staff attached with you. You have the unique opportunity of developing your own skills, I suppose, as well as others. Whereas a coach and a teacher, ultimately they will be responsible for those specific students, as it is their profession, it is their job. And then finally, is there anything about the role that is shared with another role? So I've talked kind of the links there between coach and teacher, and ultimately as a sports leader, I think it's a combination of a coach and a teacher as well, so you can hopefully bring that into play when you come to finish off that last section of that first page. Moving on task 1.1, we then have to think about what are the key skills and behaviours that you'll need to be a sports leader. So the skills here are identified for you, 5 of them in fact, and you need to be able to describe them. And actually, if you go back to page 3 of your our booklet, you can actually see a definition for each one. So you can just go back to page 3 and just fill that in from there. But the skills are looking at things that you can develop, and behaviours, as it kind of says at the top of this page. You can see here, the skill is something that you can do, whereas behaviour is what you need to show to make the skill more effective. So a skill, for example, as it's identified here, is communication, but perhaps the behaviour might be you being confident enough to talk and stand in front of a group in order to communicate. So that comes into the third column, explain why this key skill will be necessary for a sports leader. So hopefully all of these will be fairly self-explanatory. You should be able to work out why it's important for you to have these skills. And then you've got the associated behaviours. So in column 4, it kind of tells you what the behaviours are that reflect that particular skill, and you need to pick just 2 of those behaviours in the last column, really, based on column 4, the ones that are listed, and just write it out again and just in one sentence describe the effect that will have on your key skill. So why, for example, is questioning important in communication? So hopefully you can write questioning here, and then you can explain in a sentence why questioning is so important when it comes to communication. That pretty much completes task 1.1. Yeah, before we move on to task 1.2. So I wish you the best of luck in that, and that should hopefully be fairly straightforward. Okay.